Hi folks, we're doing factorising trinomials, which is 2.9 and 2.10. So there's two types of trinomials, there's monics and non-monics. Basically monics are trinomials with a coefficient of 1 in front of the x squared, so like this one for example, and non-monics have another coefficient, so a number other than 1. So this is the general form, so x squared plus a plus bx plus ab, and that factorises down to a binomial expansion, which we would do the way we've done previously. So let's take a look at a pretty standard monic trinomial, x squared minus 13x plus 36. So we're looking for two numbers that their product gives us 36, so they multiply together to give us 36, and they add together to give us negative 13. So I start by looking for factors of 36. 9 and 4 are the most logical, but I need to decide which is negative. Well, negative 9 and negative 4 give me negative 13, also give me a positive answer. Pop it into brackets, there I go. So a squared plus 12a minus 28, so I'm looking for two numbers whose product is negative 28. Well, 14 and 2 is a good start, and they need to add to give 12. So my options, because it's a negative product, is either negative 14 and positive 2 or negative 2 and positive 14, and it's the second one. So that means that it's a plus 14, a minus 2. And the reason why it's that is because of this here at the top. So x plus a, x plus b, and a plus b times x, ab is the last term. So let's take a look at non-monics, and these are more complicated. So this is a non-monic because the coefficient of the x squared is not 1. In this case it's 2. There's a couple of different ways to do it. If you've learnt a different way, just keep doing it that way. So I'm going to go 2 times 12, which gives me 24. And now this is the number that I'm using to find my factors. So 2 times 12 is 24. So now I'm looking for numbers that multiply together to give me 24 and add together to give me 11. So 8 and 3, they're good ones. And 8 times 3 is 24, and 8 plus 3 is 11. So that's perfect. Now my second step is to break down this middle term, the 11x, into two separate terms. So 2x squared plus, so instead of writing 11x, I'm going to write 8x plus 3x. So I haven't changed the expression at all. I'm just writing it slightly differently because this will help me factorise. And don't forget the 12 at the end. Alright, so now I've got 4 terms. I can factorise by grouping, which we did last lesson. And bear in mind it doesn't matter whether I wrote the 3x first or the 8x, still get the right answer. So I'm factorising out a 2x, which leaves x plus 4, and that's from these first two terms. And now I'm going to factorise out a 3, remembering that I need to have in my brackets the same term, and that's because in the next step I'm going to take out a highest common factor. And my highest common factor will be x plus 4. So x plus 4 comes outside, and what's left over is the 2x from the first term and the 3. And we have taken now a trinomial and turned it into what will become a binomial expansion. Alright, one more. 6y squared minus 11y minus 10. So the procedure is exactly the same. Start with the first and the last term. So the coefficient of the y squared and the negative 10. Multiply them together to get negative 60. So I'm now looking for two numbers which multiply together to give negative 60 and which add together to give negative 11. So products of 60, 15 and 4, but they need to add to give negative 11, and it needs to multiply to give negative 60. So I'm going to have one of my numbers as negative, but which one? Well, it's just trial and error. Negative 15 plus 4, that's the one that I need. So now I'm going to write my middle term by splitting it up into two separate terms. So I'm not changing the expression, I'm just making it easier to factorise. So I'm writing negative 11y as negative 15y plus 4y, and that is the same as negative 11y. Don't forget the negative 10 at the end. I've got 4 terms now, so I'm going to factorise by grouping. Taking out a 3y, which leaves 2y minus 5. The common factor here in the next brackets will be 2, leaving 2y minus 5. That's really good, remembering we need to have the same number in the brackets, because now our highest common factor becomes 2y minus 5, and what's left over is the 3y plus 2. And we're done. Now, if you've learnt the cross method is perfect. It's a little bit quicker, and you can keep learning that. If you'd like to learn the cross method, it's also in your textbook, but either method is fine.